It just started, the blower just quit working, and it's the middle of summer and I can't have that. So I got another one I'm going to order, but in the meantime I want to see if I can get it apart. Sometimes you can clean the motors up, clean the brushes and where the motor sits, get it working and put it back in. So while I'm waiting for the motor to get here, I'm going to see if I can do that. Tackling the blower motor, not power, is because my blower motor has been making noise for a little bit and it's kind of been coming on and off. So I know it's got power, but if you aren't sure and you want to double check, make sure you got power, inside your little fuse panel here by your left leg in the driver's seat, there's two 15-amp fuses, those blue fuses on the top right. Hook your test light up to, or meter, and just make sure that you've got power going to either side of, oh, there it goes. You can't see in the camera, but I'm testing both sides of each fuse. Make sure you got power going to the fuses. So that's a quick way to make sure you got power. Or panel, it goes here. I gotta pull this plastic panel off. Looks like there's a little torque bit that sits right there where your hood releases at. That comes off. Sure, leave that connected. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 bolt, 10mm bolts to pull this plate off right here. Alright, so the blower motor is actually up here, and you have to get the brake and accelerator pedal assembly out to do it. The brake pedal has two switches here, black connector, brown connector, and then the position sensor for the throttle drive-by wire is over here. You just kind of push the knob in, pull up. I haven't got the brown connector out yet. That one's kind of fighting me. I'm hoping that if I pull the pedal down I can see it better. It's mounted up here, a series of I think those are 14mm, a few of them around, and there's one on the other side of this too, hard to see. And then the rod coming through the firewall for the brakes, you can see here is just a hairpin. Take a pair of needle nose and push that out, and then push that pin through the brake pedal, and that whole assembly should just drop out. Looks like you gotta squeeze that and then push in probably here. Maybe. There we go. There we go. There it is right there. Cotter pin goes through that. One more way at the top on the other side. I'll take an extension back there. A little wobbly. Deep well 14. Way back there on that top nut. I'm doing a horrible job with the camera, sorry. And once you're on it, then you can get your little impact here. Good luck getting that back on there. this, but I still got something connected up here somewhere. Figure out what that is. When it's all out, I didn't have anything else connected except for the wires, so I took the wires are kind of connected here with these. I just kind of ripped them off there. Here's that brown connector, black connector. You push in on the connector here, pull it up, and then you push in on the connector here, pull it out, and then your throttle, similar fashion, push in here, pull up. So now that's out. I should be able to get to my blower assembly a bit easier. It's way back there, if you can see it. I'm kind of holding the camera a ways. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's back there. How I know it's a bad blower, turn my blower up here. I'm gonna take my extension, I'm gonna reach in there and go knock on the back of it, and listen for it. Nope, there it goes. I barely tapped it. You can already hear it. That's how I know it's a blower. So, gotta come out. See if I can get you guys up here. It's hard. Oh God. Hard to see anything. I'm probably gonna have to do the work outside of the camera, but you see the one screw right there on the edge. You see the connector, and then once that's out, you can kind of twist the motor. I'm doing motion with the camera, twist it, and then pull it out this way, and hopefully this bracket here doesn't stop me. And I'll tackle that when I get to it, I guess. Unfortunately, I fast forwarded because I was having a hell of a time. So what I found out is this metal bracket here, it goes up in here like this. It's got two holes, two 10mm bolts, sits in there like that. Problem is, to get the blower out, you have to pull this bracket off of here, so that way it slides out. Bottom bolt's easy to get to, top bolt not so much because it's kind of wedged up in there. What I ended up doing is one of these little wobblies, long extension, 10mm, shove it in between your steering column and your plastic here, and they leave a little bit of a gap up in there to get it in there. It just barely fits. If you don't got one of those wobblies, I don't know what to tell you. That's gonna be a pain in the butt. Maybe you pull some of these plastics off and get in there with a little wrench if you can. I don't know, but that's what worked for me to get that piece out of there. Otherwise, you have to kind of, the only other option is to kind of pull it apart while it's up in there. So this will come out separately, right? So this motor sits in there like that, and then the fan obviously kind of sits on there like that, and then this goes in the car. So when you're looking at it in the car, that's what you're looking at, and the plug goes in there. I pulled the plug out once the motor was kind of dangling down where the pedals were at, because I was having a hard time unplugging it and pulling it out in there. So but once I got it down by where the pedals are supposed to be, then I could take a pair of pliers and kind of pull the plug up. The plug is, where is it? Is this guy right here? That's your plug, and what was stopping me was that little piece there. So you kind of have to squeeze it. I squeezed it with my pliers here and pulled it up, and it finally came out. So now this motor is just your typical brushed type motor, and it comes out of that slot, and you can see all the copper and the windings, and I can actually feel how stiff it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my compressed air and I'm going to blow inside of here, blow all the dust out of this whole entire thing. I may dabble and pull that C-clip off there and see if I can get it out even further and clean it. But that makes me a little bit nervous because I don't want all the brushes to go twang, because these are spring loaded. You can see the springs in there pushing up against the windings, and I don't want to have to try to hold those, because if I pull that C-clip out and try to pull this out for here, it's just going to go and then I'll never get it back. So I may just leave that, since I'm going to order a new one anyway, and just get this going good enough for now. So compressed air, blow everything out, clean it, reassemble. Oh yeah, that's already easier. But I can at least show you reassembly. So there is where the plug goes in, just 2 wires. And then that's where the plug goes in the plastic. So you basically want to line up that with that slot there. Push it all the way down like that. And then that should line that up there. You have a screw that goes into that hole there. It looks like everything's kind of lined up, so I should be able to screw that down. And then your fan, oh, I gotta blow that out still. Then your fan goes, there's a flat in the hole. See the flat? Matches up with the flat on the stud, like so. And then you can put the nut back on there. And then this thing's ready to go back into the car. It goes here. And then your fan. Sorry about that. Come on. Come on. There we go. That's it before you button everything back up, just in case. Oh yeah. Throttle. We'll call this Mr. Brown, call this Mr. Black. Alright, those are all in, taken care of. I still got to put the brake pin back in, otherwise I ain't gonna have brakes. That goes through the clevis back here. Hard to show on the other side, but I can at least show you on that side. And then, once that's through, you can put the hairpin back in, cotter pin, however you want to call it. There we go. Mechanics hate engineers. So the hardest part of this whole dang job isn't pulling the throttle and brake pedal assembly out, even though that's stupid too. It's this bar. So the 2 screws I showed you I pulled off here, everything, always getting it out is easier than pulling it back together, right? So this bottom one, no big deal. I can screw that in there, use my extension, boom, done. The top one, however, that's way up there, I finally got a nut started on it. I contemplated just leaving the dang thing off, to be honest with you, because the only thing it's holding is that metal plate that goes right here. But I was like, you know what, let me just do it right. So, a little trick. You take some axle grease or something, put it on the tip of your finger here, you set the nut right on top of your finger, and then you can slide that nut up and then just kind of get it started on there, and then go back with the extension and zip it down. So in case you're tackling it and you're doing it the way I did and you can't get that nut on there, you can leave the thing off if you want to, or you do it that way. The grease will hold the nut in place, that way it doesn't fall off your finger, and then you can get it way up in there and then get it barely started and then run your extension down it. Alright, that's gonna do it. Got everything back together. Blower's working again, and it could work for another, several thousand miles. I don't know. Might not even have to replace it, but it's good to have the part on hand anyway in case it does, especially when it's really hot or really cold out. So that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much. If you guys like what I do on the channel, consider subscribing, and I don't know, hit the like button every once in a while. Thanks. Bye.